This economy and back to school shopping is already in full swing, with parents flocking to stores earlier than ever before. Now, according to the National Retail Federation, 2/3 have already started buying supplies for the upcoming school year this month. This as families rush to stock up amid fears that President Donald Trump's tariffs will go into effect on August 1st and hike prices up even higher. For more on this, Chief of Policy Programs at the Century Foundation, Angela Hanks, joins me now. Angela, thanks for coming on. This is the time where families really try to stretch that budget, especially in those households with multiple children. What are some tips to really make that dollar stretch right now?
Yeah, so we're talking about back to school a little over a month before children typically go back to school, because we know that families are worried about an increase in prices due to the tariffs starting on August 1st. Uh, President Trump has said this is when the tariffs will go into effect. It's unclear whether that will be true or not, but certainly I think every parent knows that this time of year can be particularly stressful because there are a number of associated costs with your kids going back to school, whether it's backpacks or pencils or computers or food for school lunches. There are a number of expenses, and I think Americans are worried that all of those things will be made more expensive by tariffs this year.
Now, there are so many items that parents have to look out for to get their children. What are some of those items that may have a higher price tag per se?
Yeah, so I think one of the problems in this moment is that there's a lot of uncertainty about what those higher prices might be. Right now, there's a blanket 10% tariff on countries across the globe. There's a 30% tariff on China, which produces a number of the goods that people rely on for back to school shopping. And it's unclear what will happen with any of those tariffs come August 1st. Maybe there will be another pause. Maybe we'll see the tariffs that were announced in April go into effect and really see prices spike around these items. But we're already seeing some indication that prices are rising as a result of the tariffs. So just as an example, we saw inflation increase from May to June. It's at 2.7% year over year. And we're also seeing some retailers like Walmart, like Amazon, the types of retailers that people tend to really shop with heavily for back to school items, raising prices, I think simply because people are expecting to see their prices increase right now.
Now, Angela, another recent survey shows 39% say they can't afford back to school shopping, which is traditionally a significant annual expense. So what does that tell you about the overall financial strain American households are experiencing?
Yeah, I think it's safe to say that people are really struggling right now. They're struggling with living in an era of high costs. They're struggling with the uncertainty of not knowing whether their prices are going to spike even further. And as a result of the budget law that was just passed, I think families are expecting to see additional increases in the future. The Republican budget bill that was passed earlier this month will cut healthcare for 17 million people, will create food insecurity for about 1 million school-aged children, and will raise families' electricity bills. So I think if families are watching what's happening on Capitol Hill and in the White House, they have cause to be concerned that the high prices that they're already struggling to manage are going to get worse over time, and that means a lot of belt tightening in anticipation.
So what are some possible community resources families can use or take advantage of that could make really this time a little bit easier on their pockets?
Yeah, I think we're already seeing what families are doing to try to figure out how to make ends meet in this moment. A lot of families, as you mentioned in the beginning, are starting their back to school shopping early. Typically, we see families start to do this in August, closer to when the school year begins. Now they're starting in July because they don't know what's going to happen on August 1st. And so I think as much as families can sort of lean into the certainty that they do have, make those purchases upfront. All the better. And then I think for policymakers, it's good to know that families are really struggling right now, and they need to be able to make sure that those in their communities who are having trouble affording backpacks or school supplies have their lives made easier, which is hard to do when the budget bill really does hit at Americans' pocketbooks.
It really does make it difficult, Angela Hanks. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks so much.